This is a Arena window. When you open the Arena, this is something you will see. And then right now it's a blank file. So on top, this is called toolbar. Just like the most other software, you will see a lot of tools here. On the left-hand side, this is called project bar. So you will see different modules. So what's nice about Arena, it's basically coding. It's a programming language, but we don't have to do coding. So all these things have been built already. So what we really need to do is to pick something from the project bar and use those modules to build our model. So if you look at the project bar, you can see there are two parts. On top, all these boxes, yellow boxes. So these are called flowchart modules, and we use these to build our models. In the bottom, we'll see something called data module. So we use data module to edit information. So these are basically our building blocks to build our models. And the main part of the window is called model window. So this is more like our workplace. So we use this space to build our models. On top, this is called flowchart view. So we basically pick some flowchart modules and drop it here to build the model. It's called flowchart view. And the bottom is called spreadsheet view. So this you can see all the information. So this is a basic structure for Arena. So let's get started. So let's start with example 1. So in example 1, we're going to build a MM1 model. So it's a very simple model. So if you look at the teaching notes, you will see in this example, we're going to build a model where the arrival rate is about 6 custom per hour. In other words, the inner arrival time 10 minutes. Then the service time is about average-wise about 8 minutes, so it's a little faster. So how to do this? So MM1 represents the simplest model. Everything else will be more complicated. So a basic model, Arena model, typically requires 3 flowchart modules. So any model typically requires 3 modules. The first one is called create module. We need a create module to generate customer arrival process. So if you want to model customer arrival process, we need at least one create module. So that's why most models you see, we always need a create module because we have to have the arrival process. Second module we need typically is a process module. We need a process module to model the service process. The last one we need is a dispose module. So this module we tell customer where to go because eventually customer have to leave the system. So where do they leave? Okay. So basically for a basic Arena model, we need 3 modules: create, process, and dispose. So for this particular example, M1 model, we just need exactly these 3 modules. So let's do this. So these are the building blocks we need to pick and choose and drop it here in the workplace. So let's do the first one, create a module. So I click and drop. Now I added a create module. Second module I want to add is a process module. So first one is create, second one is process. So we need to add a process module. So make sure before you click and drop the process module, make sure create module is highlighted. Like look at this. I click it, you see all these dots surrounding the module. This means this module is highlighted. If I click somewhere else, now you see this one is not selected. Now it's selected, not selected, selected, and not selected. So before we add a process module, we have to make sure this one is selected, it's highlighted. So if you select create a module, then add a second module, then you will see these 2 modules will be connected. It will be connected as a line. We need this line. If you don't select the create module and then click and drop the process module, then the line will disappear. You don't see the line. So these two modules are not connected. So right now we need these two modules to be connected. So let's do it again. Let me delete this one. So if I don't select, this is called selected. This is not selected. If I don't select create one module and add the process module, you can see they are not connected. Okay, they're not connected. So if this happened, how do we fix it? If this happened, we can manually connect the two modules. So look at the toolbar. You can see this one. It's called connect. Okay. So if you made a mistake in the first place, we can fix it. So we click the connect and click the first one and click the second one. So now these two modules are connected. So the last module we're going to add is a dispose module. So I want to connect dispose module with process module. So that's why before I add the dispose module, I want to make sure process is selected. See, this is called selected. Then I click and drop the dispose module. So now these two are connected. So these three are the modules, all the modules I need for this example. So make sure you have these three modules. Now let's edit the information. First of all, let's edit the create module. As I said, we use create module to model the customer arrival process. So how do we edit? We can double click. So double click create module. It brings up a box and a dialog. And we can edit the information here. Look at the first one. The first one called name. What is the name for this module? Because the name is called customers arrive. You give a name. So this one is not critical. This name is only for informational. Okay. Eventually the name will appear on the box. So don't worry too much about this. This is only for informational. So customers arrive. It's information that will display on this module. Second one is called entity type. So under entity type, so for this particular module, we use a module to generate customers. So the entity type we call customer. Pick a name for the entities. So for most of the service process, we can use customer as entity type. But if you're talking about manufacturing systems, then it will be products. That depends on different simulation systems. So here we use customers. So customer. So next one is called time between arrivals. So what is time between arrivals? This basically means the inner arrival time between customers. So how is the distribution for the inner arrival time between customers? So for this particular example, the inner arrival time between customers are random and a follow distribution. The note says it's exponential distribution. It's a commonly used distribution, exponential distribution, with average inner arrival time 10 minutes. So this is what the note says, 10 minutes average inner arrival time. So how do we model this? So first of all, pick the distribution. There are different distributions you can pick. So for this particular example, it's exponential distribution. That's why we pick the first one. Random, EXPO. EXPO stands for exponential distribution. So we pick the first one. So exponential distribution. Then we also need to type what is the average inner arrival time. So for this one, the average inner arrival time is 10. So what is time units? So 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, you see one new customer. So this is called 10 minutes. So the default one is hour. Don't use hours. For this example, don't use hours. Default one is hour. Here we use minutes. So make sure you do this right. Okay. So if you did hours, your results will be wrong. So after that, we click OK. We're finishing up the first module. So this is a create module. Now let's move to the second module. It's called process module. So how do we edit? Double click. So give a name, first of all. Give a name. This is called service process. Again, this name is only for informational. This name will appear on this box. So service process. Logic. So what is the logic here? So for most fundamental simulation system, we use cease delay release. So cease delay release. So what does it mean, cease delay release? So this is a bank example. So when you go to a bank, you need to work with a bank teller for deposit or withdraw money. So what does that mean, cease delay release? So as a customer, we are entities in the systems, and bank tellers are basically servers. They are the resource. They're resource available. They should be available for everybody. So when we say cease delay release, it means we seize a bank teller first. Okay, whenever someone becomes available, we seize a bank teller because the transaction takes some time. So once we seize the resource, will delay for a certain time. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes. After you're done with the transaction, you will be leaving the system. That's why you have to release the bank teller. In other words, you have to release the resource so that the next customer can work with the bank teller. So that's the action. It's called cease delay release. Seize the resource, delay for a time period, and release the resource. Okay. So most of fundamental examples, this is the logic we're going to use, cease delay release. Underneath cease delay release was the resource. So we had to define resource. So for this particular example, we're talking about bank. So what is that resource? So entities are basically customers. The resource, as I said, the bank tellers. So we have to add, right now it's empty. So we have to add resource, give it a resource name, bank teller. We can say teller. Quantity, right now it's 1. Now here, be careful about quantity. When the quantity says 1, it does not mean there's only 1 bank teller available. Okay, it does not mean there is only 1 bank teller available. This one means each customer needs to work with 1 bank teller for a transaction. Okay, not 2, not 3. We only need 1 bank teller to work with each customer. So don't get confused. This quantity does not mean there is only 1 bank teller available. Instead, it means each customer needs to work with 1 bank teller. So this is what it means. So for most examples we see in this class, it's always 1. So click OK. So we define the resource. Then afterwards, we need to define the distribution. So for this particular example, the distribution, service time distribution is exponential distribution as well. So look at delay type. So delay type, we can define service time distribution. So you can see there are different options. It could be uniform, triangular. We need exponential, but we don't see anything here. There's no exponential. If you don't see a particular distribution, you can always choose expression. Okay, choose expression. And then underneath expression, we have to define exponential. So what is the function for exponential? It will be EXPO. Some people may ask, how do I know it's EXPO? Now, once you start to use Arena for a time period, you know EXPO stands for exponential. So first-time users, of course, you don't know what it means, EXPO. So later, after you use Arena for a time period, for a certain time, you know EXPO stands for exponential. So exponential distribution, average service time is 8 minutes. So we use EXPO, then add a parenthesis, and inside we type 8. 8 means average-wise. So average in arrival time is 8. 8 what? Be careful about units. So time units, we choose that minutes. So average service time is 8 minutes. So we click OK. So that's how we define the service process, the process module. The last one. The last one is pretty simple. It's disperse module. This one tells where all these customers should go after they finish service. So for this one, we double click. We give a name. It's called customers leave. Again, this is only for informational. Okay, only for informational. This name, the name will appear. See, the name will appear on the box. It's only for informational. So now we define the 3 modules. Now we're almost done. So before we make some additional edits, let's save the file. We save, You pick a folder. Okay, pick a folder and give a name. We call example 1. So this is example 1. Later, we're going to do more examples. So example 1. Pay attention to the file extension. The file extension is called DOE. For ARENA models, the file extension is DOE. So keep that in mind. DOE is the most important file. Okay, so click Save. So we just save the file. So we're done with the model itself. Now we have the model. We have the customer arrival process. We have the service process defined. We're almost done. Before we run simulation, we needed to make some additional edits. Basically, we have to tell ARENA how long we want to run simulation. So if you look at the nodes, detail nodes, it says we're going to run for 1 month. For bank, the bank has 20 working days each month. And every working day, we have 8 working hours. So in total, we're going to run 8 times 20, it will be 160 hours. So that's how long we're going to run simulation. To run simulation for 1 month. So how do we make the edit? So we go to run, and then go to setup, run setup. The different parameters you can set. So here, the first tab we're going to do is going to project parameter, the project parameter. So for the project parameter, give a name for your project. So name for this project, maybe I can say my first project. First project. So again, this is informational. My first project informational. And you may want to also type your name, analyst name, who built the model. Type my last name. You can type your name. So pick a name for the project and type your name because you have the copyright, because you are the one who built the model. So for project parameters, this is only for informational. What's more important is about the replication parameter. That's more important. So replication parameter. So for replication parameter, first of all, we need to tell ARENA how long we want to run simulation. As I said, we're going to work on 1 month, 20 working days, 8 hours a day. So we're going to run for 160 hours. 160 hours. We want a simulation to run for 160 hours. So hours per day is working hours per day is 8 hours. The last one is also important. What is the base time units? The base time units means how do you want the report to show the time. So if you pick hours, so when you eventually after you run simulation, how do you read the report? So all the numbers in the report should be interpreted as hours. If you choose minutes, then all the numbers in the report should be interpreted as minutes. So here, for accuracy, I choose minutes. In fact, for most of the ARENA models we see in service setting, we probably want to use minutes. Minutes is a good it's a good units to use for report. So for most examples that we see, we use the base time units, minutes. So everything we see in the report should be interpreted as that minutes. So make sure you choose minutes. Then click OK. Save it. So we're almost done to run simulation. There's one more thing I want to mention. How do you control the simulation speed? You look at here, the sliding bar speed factor. If you slide the bar to the left, you can make the simulation slower. Sometimes you want to see the animation. You want a simulation to be slow, so you can see the animation. You want to pay attention to details, so you can put the bar on to the left. So slow. Sometimes if you want a simulation to run faster, you can slide the bar to the right and make it faster. So right now I do a little slow. Okay, do a little slow. So this sliding bar, you can control the simulation speed. Now let's do it. Okay, so I click go. So this is how to start a simulation. I click go. Now you can see the simulation starts. You can see the queue sometimes. You can see the queue. There's a lot of people waiting here. So now I'm gonna get tired of it. I want the simulation to run faster. So I can just slide the bar to the right. So then you see the box there. The simulation has run to completion. So the simulation has run 160 hours already. So would you like to see the results? So in other words, do you want to see the report? So my answer is yes. I do want to see the report. I click yes. So this is the report. So how the report has multiple pages. So how do you navigate? You can see the preview. I have a different information. I have entity, queue, resource. So first information I want to see is about everything related to waiting time, the time. So if you want to see time-related matrix, I can click entity. Click entity, you can see time. So pay attention. There are 3 different times that we want to pay attention. The first one is called a VA time. So what is VA time? Value added time. That means service time. So average service time is about 7.85. What does that mean? 7.85. I said because we choose the base time units minutes. So that's why this number should be interpreted as minutes. So average service time based on our simulation is 7.85 minutes. That's how much time it takes to serve each customer average-wise based on this particular simulation model. Second time we are interested is the wait time. So wait time you can see is 32.95. Again, this number should be interpreted as 32.95 minutes. So the average wait time is over half an hour, 32 minutes, or close to 33 minutes. So last one, total time. Total time is 40.8 minutes. The total time is the service time plus a wait time. That's the total time each customer spend in the system. So that's how we read time. So click time, you can see 3 types time. So service time, wait time, total time. We can also click queue and then look at others. Look at how the waiting line, the length of the waiting line. So look at here, number of people waiting. So over 160 hours, sometimes we're interested to find out on average how many people are waiting in the queue. So this number tells you how many people are waiting in the queue. So about 3.3 people. So average-wise, we see about 3.3 people waiting in the queue. We also see the maximum. The longest queue we ever observed during this 160 hours is 21 customers. So this is the longest waiting number of people waiting, 21. So this is about the length of the queue. The last matrix you might be interested is go to resource, look at usage. So usage means how much percent time the server is busy. Okay? So how full, how busy is the server? If it's too busy, that means we may need to hire more people. If it's not busy at all, that means the resource is wasted. So you don't want to hire so many people. So currently you can see if you look at schedule utilization is about 0.79, it's about 79% busy. So bank teller is busy about close to 79% time. Okay, so this is a good number. Okay, most time is busy. So these are all the metrics we are interested in. That's how we read report. We use this to navigate the report. So once you're done reading the report, you can close the report. So close it. Okay. So now you can see this is our original simulation model. If you want to edit some more information, let's say I want to edit some customer arrival process, I double click. If you double click, you can see everything is gray. All the numbers, information are gray. That means you cannot really make any edits. So here, be careful. If you want to keep making some edits, the first thing you want to do is want to stop animation. Okay, stop animation. Click end. You click end first. Stop simulation. Then you go to all these modules. Now you can edit it. You can define different parameters. Now you can define it, revise it, and run simulation again. So make sure you click end simulation before you make some edits. So I want to save it again. So this is our first example.